Live in NAB 20. This is theCUBE with his intro video, and I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Dave Vellante of wikibon.org, and John, we're here with Alan Cohen, who's the VP of Marketing at DTS, and sound matters, doesn't it?
What did we just see? Tell us about the video that was just on the screen.
Well, that's a piece we put together as part of our Sound Matters campaign. It really illustrates how important sound is. I think we all take sound for granted in our everyday life, and that was to point out how important sound is. And the goal is to translate that through to entertainment and how important high quality sound is to entertainment. We have to get consumers, particularly in today's age when everything's so compressed, to acknowledge how important sound is. We've had a lot of years now with very compressed audio in the entertainment tracks. So it's really our goal to expose consumers to the fact of how important sound is. And that's one way of putting it forward, is to really prove it.
Audio engineering has always been kind of that audio geek feature that, sound, but when video exploded in the production side, a lot of people weren't paying attention to the importance of sound in the production. Are you seeing, with your technology, expanding out to the point where the creative suites are integrating this more into their workflow? And talk about the dynamics of just doing good sound in the production.
Sure. Well, I mean, quality sound is very important to bring the entertainment alive. And we've introduced technology called NeoX, which adds a height element to the listening environment, makes it more realistic. So when you're watching a movie and a plane flies overhead, the sound should also fly overhead. So we're taking the sound that's normally around you and adding height and putting it above you. And that's really the basis of the NeoX technology, and expanding that sound field within the home.
We all remember the surround sound, that feeling, how amazing that was. And so you're talking about the next level, right?
That's right.
So where are we in terms of the deployment of that and the adoption of that capability?
We have a number of manufacturers in the AV world who are installing NeoX. Some have been announced, some are more to be announced, but there's a lot of excitement in the industry, particularly in the home entertainment space, for adding these dimensions and adding these additional speakers within the home. Obviously, the more speakers you have, the more immersive you are, the more surround that you have. So it's a very exciting time for particularly those that are enthusiasts that really want to experience movies and experience music. The beauty behind NeoX, however, is that it's a fully scalable solution. So, I often get asked the question of how many people are going to put 11 speakers in their home. And, at the end of the day, probably not tens of thousands. But the analogy that I use is like Mercedes-Benz. They make a $350,000 automobile, but not many people buy it, but some do. But you have to create the science at a very high level in order to be able to bring it down to the mainstream masses.
Yeah,
that's really
flagship product, but yet integrating into devices like the TVs themselves or the basic speaker set. But I think people are buying more and more integrated home environments now. I mean, with the proliferation of plasmas now, everyone has multiple sets, some per child, depending on whose household you go to.
Sure. And gaming's a big piece too.
And gaming, I was just going to bring that up with all the advances in the GPUs and gaming. What is involved? You mentioned the scalable. I want to ask you a tech question. And what's making it scalable? What's the scalability angle there?
The idea is that if you mix a track or mix a movie in 11.1 or 7.1 or 5.1, and that sound, if someone's watching it on their PC or they're watching on a television that doesn't have the expanded sound range or expanded speakers, it'll take that 7.1 mix, 11.1 mix even, and down mix it to stereo. So the idea is we always want to have the highest possible audio experience regardless of device. So whatever that device is capable of producing, the technology will allow that high quality audio to come through. That's really the basis of it.
Great. Do we have some other media we're going to go with here?
I think
some
so.
Other examples,
I think you might be familiar with singer, songwriting, producing team Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. They recently came to our headquarters in California and mixed a Boyz II Men track that has not been released to the public. So if you're a Boyz II Men fan, this will be a treat for you. And this was mixed in 11.1. So let's roll that.
Along the way, the days got lost behind me. Was love still living there? Feel all the weight lifted off my shoulders when I found you still cared. Memories don't care what what the future holds. They create the greatest love stories ever told. We chased our dreams and we faced our nightmares, and through it all we didn't let it fall apart. Tomorrow's the next best day, so we celebrate the love we have through the good times and the bad. Today is the most precious day of my life. Tomorrow's the next best day. Never say goodbye for all time. So let's celebrate. We're still together. You, girl, you changed the mood when you walk in a room. And as I watch, I smile at you. You take all my breath away. No, I'm not ashamed. This isn't for everyone. We operate on a higher plane. But for your love, I would walk through burning flames. Don't care what the future holds. They create the greatest love stories never told. We chased our dreams and we faced our nightmares, and through it all we didn't let it fall apart. Tomorrow's the next best day, so we celebrate the love we have through the good times and the bad. Today is the most precious. Tomorrow's the next best day. Never say goodbye for all time. So let's celebrate. We're still together. Love so beautiful is magical. Yeah. Where there's need to give, that's where your love lives. And nothing seems impossible, because I know that you'll be there for me. The future holds, but they create the greatest love story ever told. I need you here with me. Complete me with affection, embracing me in love, in all sheer perfection. Tomorrow's the next best. And we faced our nightmares, and through it all we didn't let it fall apart. Tomorrow's the next best day, so we celebrate the love we have through the good times and the bad. Today is the most precious day of my life. Tomorrow's the next best day. For all time, so let's celebrate. Baby, we're still together.
Wow, that's awesome. Have the members of the band heard that?
They have.
Yeah,
they were
say?
absolutely blown away.
Yeah.
You know, it's fantastic when you get the artist or the producer, the engineers, or people that have actually worked on the track to just be completely blown away. In fact, some of the comments that came back were, wow, there were things in that song that we actually never heard. And we wrote the song, we produced the song, we performed the song, and things like that. So it's very special when we're able to take a track and mix it to that level.
So I don't know, you hear that, people might be willing to put 11 speakers in their house.
You know, after you hear that, it's very tempting, right? You know, and you know, sound bars are adding a lot to this equation as well. I mean, you know, they're so easily installed into a 5.1 system. So, you know, for those that just have the normal television, moving to sound bar is probably the first step. It's not a whole lot to install into the walls and things like that.
That's great audio, and that's sure you guys can attract all the top talent hearing the audio like that. Congratulations, Alan. Thanks for being with us on theCUBE. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be right back with our
Nice
closing segment. Dave Vellante, John Furrier here in the